and healing, embracing the feeling for real this time, finding your life.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we have Susan Phillips, and I'm so excited for her to be here today. She is a Kundalini instructor. I've had the privilege of sitting under her tutelage, and she's awesome. And welcome, Susan.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
I'm excited to have you and to have our guests understand what Kundalini Yoga is and how you got started. So just tell us a little bit about yourself.
I started Kundalini Yoga in 2017. I stumbled upon it by accident. I was a Hatha yoga person.
What's Hatha? What's the difference?
That's the yoga that most people, when they think of yoga, that's what they associate yoga with. The downward dogs, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And it's a fabulous yoga. It is, but that's what I was doing for many years. And then one day at my yoga studio, a man who became my teacher, he was teaching a Kundalini class. He was from LA, so the chances of me running into him were pretty slim, but he happened to be there one day. I took his Kundalini class. Kundalini is very different than most yogas. Yeah. It's a lot of movement and raising energy, and I needed that in my life. So I took the Kundalini class, and it was, when I first took it and I left, I was like, whoa, what was that, But then the next day I woke up and I was like, yeah, what was that? And so I felt so good, and my spine felt good, and my brain felt good, and the anxiety level that I had was down, and I was like, yeah, there's something to this. So the next thing I know, he's teaching a teacher training program, 220-hour teacher training program at the same studio. So I ended up doing that. And then I became a Kundalini teacher.
So how long have you been teaching?
Since 2018.
2018.
Yeah, but I've been doing it since 2017.
Okay.
But started officially teaching in 18.
2018 is when you actually started teaching Kundalini Yoga.
Yes.
So for someone who's new, who's never experienced Kundalini Yoga, how would you describe that to them?
Kundalini Yoga is the yoga of the conscious mind. When we do Kundalini Yoga, we want to concentrate on living in the now. We don't want to live in the future, and we don't want to live in the past. We want to live in the now, and we want to live in our conscious mind. So actually Kundalini Yoga is known as the yoga of the conscious mind versus the subconscious mind. So a lot of times when we're led in life by our subconscious mind, it's our ego getting in the way of our life, and it's our doubts getting in the way of our life. It's our fears that have led us back to childhood. So we're stuck in the past a lot, and then we fear the future. So if we're stuck in the past, we often fear the future. So what Kundalini does is it brings us into now, so that we're not living in the past, and then we're not worried about the future so much. Because if we take care of our now, we're gonna be okay in the future. That I just have to trust in that. So that's what Kundalini has taught me, to just live now and know that if I live in the now, my future will probably be okay if I'm not worried about past. And I'm talking about past regrets, past hurts, past traumas, all that stuff. Kundalini allows you to let go of that. So it's the yoga of the conscious mind.
The conscious mind.
We want to live in our conscious mind, not our subconscious mind. And we definitely want to get rid of our egos. Because then our subconscious mind and our egos often tell us, we're not doing this right. We're not good enough. We don't know what we're doing. We've never been able to do this. Why are we going to do it now?
Right. I was just reading this morning about how we mostly live in inadequacies, right? So, from a mental health standpoint, as I am a licensed mental health professional, from a mental health, how does Kundalini help with someone's mental health?
If you suffer from a mental illness, Kundalini can actually, by opening up, in Kundalini we believe in opening up your chakras. Your chakras are energy centers that start in your pelvis area, and they go all the way up to the crown of your head and out into your aura.
Yeah.
Your aura is your magnetic field. So when you are working on chakras and your magnetic field, you open up a whole new world to yourself that you didn't even know was there.
Yeah.
So for people that have mental illness or emotional problems, it teaches them new tools and new opportunities that they didn't know were available to them.
Yeah.
I often find that people say, I didn't even know I could do that.
Yeah. I'm thinking about when, because you've done Kundalini for Fountain of Hope Counseling Center.
Yes.
On Wednesdays we would have the class.
Yes.
And I recall one of the clients, she came in and she said, I was on anxiety medication. I'm no longer on anxiety medication because she was going to counseling, but she had started the Kundalini. And her psychiatrist called and said, okay, what's going on over there?
Yeah.
And so the Kundalini, when it comes to anxiety, I know it has helped a lot of my clients.
Right.
Do you have anyone that has given a testimony in terms of how it's helped them?
Oh, I have many students, but I can think of one student in particular. She suffers from past trauma, PTSD, and she also became very, very ill with COVID. She got COVID pneumonia right before I met her, and she almost died in the hospital from COVID pneumonia. She was in there for like 31 days, and she had a breathing tube and everything. And she started taking my class shortly after that, and maybe about a month after she came out of the hospital, her lungs were scarred. So we started breathing techniques. In Kundalini, we like to breathe. We breathe a lot.
We do.
We learn. So I teach people how to breathe, because people don't realize that a lot of times they go through life and they breathe the wrong way. So I teach people how to breathe. So once you learn the proper way to breathe, your anxiety is going to go down.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen.
Yeah.
You can't go through life and not knowing how to breathe and expect to not have anxiety.
Yeah.
Anxiety is directly related to the way that you breathe. So I will teach in my class the correct way to breathe. So her lungs actually started to heal. She was fearful because of her lungs, that she would re-injure her lungs, but she didn't. Her lungs just got stronger and stronger. And then she also suffered from PTSD, from childhood trauma. And so along with that, she was able to put that behind her and move forward.
Yeah, that's good.
Kundalini Yoga raises your vibration in your body, and that just makes you feel so good.
It does, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a witness to it.
Yeah, you are a witness to it.
And that breathing,
Yeah.
getting that fiery breath up.
The breath of fire.
The breath of fire.
Right.
Talking about it, there was an incident that happened with you.
There was an incident that happened with me, and I believe that a higher power put me in touch with Kundalini Yoga, because I started it I learned about it in 2017, started teaching in 2018, but in 2019, my ex-husband shot me in my neck, and it was a very, as you can imagine, traumatic experience. I almost died. And I used Kundalini right then and there. I used mantra, the magic of mantra. So in Kundalini we chant. We chant a lot of mantra. We say mantra. And so when I was shot and I was laying on my living room floor, I couldn't listen to what the police were saying to me. I couldn't listen to what the emergency medical people were saying to me, because I was only living in the future, like, you know, what was going to happen, I'm going to die, it's going to be hard for my mother and my brothers. And so I started mantra right then and there, laying on the floor, bleeding from my neck. And mantra brought me back to the present. And then I was able to hear what the police were saying, what the medical people were saying. And I realized that I probably wasn't going to die. Even though I was shot in the neck and I was bleeding, I realized that I was going to go ahead and I was going to live through this. And mantra and Kundalini brought me back to that. And so then I continued with mantra all through my hospital stay. Even the nurses would do mantra with me. The doctors would do mantra with me. And I credit Kundalini to my quick recovery, because for someone that was shot in the neck, I recovered pretty quickly and was able to go on and continue to teach. So then it became very important to me to try to reach out to other people who have suffered trauma and to let them see what the benefits of Kundalini can do for them.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And your story is beautiful.
Thank you.
One of the things that I find with yoga, people who are looking at taking any form of yoga, and even Kundalini, the mantras, what are we saying? I don't know what we're saying. And is it for people who are Christian based? Is it against God? Is it something I should be saying? And so a lot of them fear, basically, I'm worshiping another God, or I'm worshiping something else, or...
I understand.
So,
especially in our culture, I understand that.
Yeah.
But what people don't understand is that what I teach is not anything new. These mantras that I say and these movements that I teach, people have been doing these movements for hundreds and hundreds of years. The mantras are called Nad. Nad is N-A-A-D. Nad is the sacred sound. So the mantras mean all kinds of things. They mean we are one. They mean earth, moon, sun, water. They mean love. They mean happiness. They mean the joy of God coming into your life. It's nothing to fear, and it's certainly not against God. I mean, in some cultures, people are teaching their 2-year-olds how to meditate, how to say mantra. So, no, you're not going to burn in hell because you say mantra.
Definitely not, right?
No. And anything that brings you peace and happiness could never be against God.
No. And the experience of even being able to chant and say the mantras, the different ones, and not realizing we are one.
Yeah, we are one.
One of the things that I recall in taking your class is that when it comes to diversity and how you see diversity, how you see the world, racism and things like that. Can you give a little bit about how you see the world and how it fits into what we do with Kundalini?
Well, I was raised to know that just being born white put me in a better position than a lot of people. And I could never understand how that was fair. So I feel like I have almost a duty to speak out against racism because I'm white. So I should. I've had an easier life than some people of color only because I'm white. And how in the world could that be fair? That's how I feel. I feel that we're all the same. Whether we're black, whether we're brown, whether we're yellow, we're all the same, and that we need to love each other and reach out to each other. And as a white woman, I feel that that the least I can do is say a few words against racism.
You do.
That's the least.
And when you're in our sessions, you make sure you speak of us all being one.
Yes.
And so even with the mantra and speaking of all one, I feel your energy like this is, yes, we're all one. It doesn't matter what color, what race, what background, male, female. You're the energy that you exude. You can feel it in the room.
Well, thank you. And so Kundalini Yoga, I use it as a platform. I teach Kundalini Yoga and my love for Kundalini Yoga, but when it's appropriate and when I can, I will speak out against racism. Yeah. I have people in front of me. Yeah. They're listening to me. Yeah. So I say it. I say it, and I talk about racism in my classes sometimes, yes. And I try to live a life where I'm aware of racism.
Yes. And so with that, back to the Kundalini, what are some specific techniques that you would use?
Well, a favorite technique of mine is called breath of fire, and it's a technique that we use in Kundalini to clear our minds, bring us back to now, get rid of stress. And that's a breathing through your nose, in and out through your nose, and that's how we mainly breathe in Kundalini. People go through life breathing through their mouth and then they get excited or they get anxious and they're breathing too fast, and they're not realizing that they're just making their anxiety worse. If you can slow down and breathe through your nose and do conscious breathing. That's what I teach in Kundalini. Conscious breathing that you're actually thinking about. I'm not saying I walk around all day long thinking about my breathing. I don't. But I do spend a lot of the day knowing that my breath is going to get me through this hard day at work. My breath is going to get me through this meeting at work. My breath is going to get me through when I have to deal with someone that may be frustrating me or something like that, and I could just use my breath and bring my stress level down. I know I can do that. I'm aware of that. I don't think most people in our culture are aware that just by breathing and changing a few things in the way they breathe, that their life would be much easier. I know it sounds ridiculously simple. I know it sounds ridiculously simple, but I believe it's a gift, from God or whatever you believe in, whatever your religion is. I believe that the breath is a gift, and we just have to learn how to use it. And our culture, along the many, many years, we've lost that. We've lost the way that, the correct way that we're supposed to breathe.
Yeah, I agree with you. A lot of times we go through life and we're not breathing.
No,
and someone say,
we're holding our breath.
We're holding it, right. I know if I go and I get a massage, breathe.
Yes, breathe.
When you're working out, they'll say breathe.
Yes.
And so a lot of times you don't even realize you're holding your breath.
Right.
For people who might have some physical challenges, and they're like, I can't do this. I can't. And they're thinking we're doing positions that are just like, standing up basically on your head. The downward dog is one of them.
Right.
I can't do that. I can't do this.
Right.
How do you adapt, or how does Kundalini adapt to those who might have some physical issues?
Well, Kundalini is all about doing it at your own pace, your own style. But Kundalini Yoga is very different, where we do a lot of repetitive movements in Kundalini. You've taken my class. And that can be challenging. Yes. That's where the breath comes in. The breath is called the prana. The prana is life. And so when we use our prana the correct way, Kundalini teaches us to use our prana to make it through these challenging movements. Then we learn stamina, and we learn to get through challenging times in life.
So, for someone who might have back problems and can't sit on the floor, or someone
they definitely need Kundalini. They can sit in a chair. They don't have to sit on the floor.
So you can adapt.
I absolutely can. I can modify
it for anyone.
Right, but especially someone that has back problems, they definitely need Kundalini, because Kundalini we believe that a healthy back, a healthy spine is a healthy life, is a healthy mind. So if we have a healthy spine, we will probably live a lot longer, we will probably be a lot healthier, and we won't be in a wheelchair or walkers or canes when we're older. That's my goal, is to just have a straight back when I'm 90. I don't want a hunched over back. And I believe that Kundalini teaches us that. We do a lot of spinal exercises in Kundalini. At the bottom of our back is the Kundalini. Kundalini means coiled. So at the bottom of our back is coiled energy. And when we're doing the Kundalini, we're raising that energy all the way up our spine to our crown and out to our aura. But as we pull that energy up, we open up all of our chakras. So many things are going on. And when you're done with Kundalini, you feel, well, you feel fabulous. You absolutely do.
And then you give us a gong bath afterwards.
See, the gong is about the vibrations too. So the Kundalini is about the spine, raising our vibrations. And then the gong just adds to that. So while you're lying down in final relaxation and I'm playing the gong, the vibrations from the gong are just adding to the vibrations that we've already raised in class. And they're soothing us, they're healing us, and they're making it feel like we can leave the class and we're better at adapting to life stress.
You said something that just reminded me of something in your class, because when we start, you will say, get someone in your mind. And we're raising our vibration and we're sending that energy, that vibration out.
So we'll dedicate, I like my students, if they want, I like my students to dedicate the class before we start to someone that they love, that they know can benefit from the healing vibrations of the class, because you felt the vibrations when you've taken my class. So we can dedicate the class, and if we use our sixth chakra, which is right here in between our eyes, that's where our intuition is. So I'll say, please think of someone in your third eye that you know can benefit from the healing vibrations of this class, and then dedicate it. You could even dedicate it to yourself if you wanted to. But if you find that you know somebody that needs calmness and peace and love in their lives, then we can dedicate the class to them. It's just something nice to do.
It is.
I'm all about kindness.
Yes.
Makes the world a better place.
It does. But when we talk about energy, when we talk about frequency, we talk about vibration, some people don't understand what we're talking about, but you can feel it. It's almost like, for example, if you walk into a restaurant, and when you walk into that restaurant, you're like, I don't know, something's off. You're feeling the energy, you're feeling the vibration. If you go into a room and there's been arguing, and then you walk into the room, you feel that vibration, you're like, And so what we're raising, so people can understand what we're talking about when we're talking about frequency or energy or vibration, we're raising that vibration, that energy up in the room, and it's a beautiful thing. I've seen people crying.
It's just a release. It's just a release of their stress. It allows the energy and the vibration build up, and then it allows you to let go of your stress, your sadness, your regrets, and sometimes they come out in the form of tears. So it's just a way of getting rid of stress.
What age do you recommend or start recommending for Kundalini?
There's all kinds of I think that you could start it at any time, that you wanted to. But the sooner the better, right? Make it become part of your life, make it become a practice. So even young children can take Kundalini. And older people, seniors, can take Kundalini. I'm 60 years old. I'm still moving and flexible, and I can do the splits if I want to. But that's not even what's important. What's important is my spine is healthy because of Kundalini Yoga, and that makes the rest of my body healthy.
From a mental health standpoint, what I've noticed is we had a young student in one of our classes that deals with ADHD.
Right.
And so when you're dealing with mental health issues such as ADHD, depression, or anxiety or PTSD,
Yeah.
that helps release that.
Yes.
You get a great night's sleep. I know every single time I go, before I start, I'm exhausted. I'm like, because of the day.
Yes.
But by the time I finish, I'm like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
But then I get a great night's sleep.
It gives you a lot of energy, but at the same time, it doesn't make you over hyper.
Okay.
So you're not going to overstimulate yourself.
Yes. So,
But it does give you energy. So yeah, you could do Kundalini, and then you would be able to go to sleep at night. Sure.
okay.
Yes.
So, I didn't ask you, but putting you on the spot, even if you're just sitting right where you are right now, would you be able to show our audience a technique or something that of Kundalini?
Sure. You mean an exercise and a
Yes.
mantra? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So one of my favorite exercises that I do to relieve stress, and you know this one.
Yeah.
So
Are you comfortable?
I am.
Okay.
I'm going to put my hands on my knees, and then I'm going to worry, and then I'm going to think about getting rid of stress in the top part of my body
Okay.
that I've carried around, I don't know, for a week maybe.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to close my eyes, and I'm going to breathe in through my nose, and I'm going to raise my shoulders up, and then I'm going to breathe out through my nose, and I'm just going to let them drop.
Okay.
So it looks like this. And what that does is it allows the stress in your upper body to roll down your back
Yeah.
like a duck in water. And you're going to feel better almost immediately. And people say, no, that's impossible. But it's true.
It's true.
It's true.
It's true.
You can feel the tension and the stress just rolling off your spine. And you can go as fast as and slow as you want. You don't have to go fast. You don't have to go slow. You can decide, and do what's comfortable for you. You shouldn't be in pain when you do Kundalini. So if something hurts, then don't do it.
Yeah.
But ease yourself into it. And then I like to flex my spine. So you know how we will hold our knees, and we'll just flex our spine forward and bring it back, and just breathing in, breathing out.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Yeah, I do.
And then also I do that when I wake up in the morning. I do this, and I do this, and that's how I start my day. And it just raises your energy, opens up your chakras, makes you feel so good.
Yeah.
You don't even really have to think about the reasons why. Just practice it every day. You know, if you want to read about the reasons why, you can certainly Google it.
Yeah.
But that's not really important. The only thing that's important is to know how it makes you feel. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sitting here like I need to get back
I
into
know.
your class.
I know. Sitting here with you, I feel like we should be on the floor
right.
doing it.
I'm like, I gotta get back into the class. So, Susan, where can someone, if they're wanting to, because there's not a lot of Kundalini instructors around here.
No, not around
in the
here.
Hampton 757 area.
Right.
There's not.
So I teach at a place called Xenia Yoga. It's on Airline Boulevard in Portsmouth. It's 1308 Airline Boulevard. I teach on Sunday mornings at 11:45.
Right.
That's when I teach it.
So right now, if you want to go and take Kundalini and experience it, Susan is a fantastic teacher. And so Sundays at 11:45 off of Airline Boulevard in Portsmouth. We'll have the address up there for you. You can contact that and go check out Susan.
You'll shine. If you know, then you know. The Fountain of Hope podcast.